Greetings. It is I, Jermaine K. Moulay. I'm originally from the U.S. Virgin Islands, Santa Cruz, St. Croix to be exact, also known as the Twin City. I left the islands in the year 2006 to pursue higher education, and I came to the institution called Paul Quinn College. Some of you who do not know, it's a small HBCU, co-educational liberal arts institution that holds the distinction of being the oldest HBCU west of the Mississippi River. I was then initiated into Alpha Phi Alpha this spring on the Ides of March 2008. The following year, I had to leave the institution because they lost their accreditation. I know, that was sad. But let us not be sad for the institution, for according to HBCU Digest, Paul Quinn College was voted HBCU of the Year in 2011. And they were also ranked the 5th most underrated HBCU in the nation, according to HBCU Digest. But anyways, yes, as we know, the institution bounced back since then. I transferred to another small HBCU called Texas College, located in Tyler, Texas. It's about an hour and 15 minutes out of Dallas. We're very close. This institution was founded in 1894 by some CME ministers, and that is the denomination that I'm tagged to or tagged with. Even though I'm not caught up in denominationalism, I had to point that out. But this institution stands on the shoulders of giants. And the chapter that is connected to this school is called Gamma Alpha, which originally is the second oldest chapter in Texas. Originally. Thank you, Delta chapter. I love you boys. Thank you. But you guys messed that up for us. Originally, but we're not the second oldest. Thanks to the Delta chapter. Houston Tilson, thank you. Thank you so much. But yes, just to jump back a little bit, Paul Quinn College originally was founded in Austin, Texas, moved to Waco, Texas, and relocated to where it stands now, Dallas, Texas, in the same area, same region, same campus as a former legendary Bishop College, which closed down in the 1980s. But that's what I want to jump into because it all connects. Brothers, it is good to draw some esteem, to your chapter. To praise, to approbate your chapter is good. But let us understand that Alpha Phi Alpha is the light and the umbrella by which all the chapters receive some glory. Without the organization, those chapters would not stand. Let's understand that without these chapters, Alpha Phi Alpha University will still be open. So let us just not forget that. I'm not trying to belittle, undermine you. Understand I'm a young brother according to some of you. But wisdom doesn't care about age. And correction, a wise man heeds correction. As alpha men, if we are to stand corrected, we are to stand upright. And we are to stand with wisdom coming in and understanding being dug up from our wells. So, also want to talk about this. The hand sign of Alpha Phi Alpha. Brothers, we know what it means. We know what it stands for. Powerful, meaning, profound, esoteric, and all. It stands and it shines upon what Alpha Phi Alpha is all about. Brothers, stop standing in photos taking pictures like this. We know that's incorrect. Let us change that. We know that this has nothing to do with the meaning. So let us change that. Let us correct that. Let us be upright. Let us hold this light up. Fellas, we are not ape. Yes, the ape holds a great meaning. And the ape, as we know historically, has some good context. But let us understand that we are not ape. We are sending mixed messages out there. We are not to carry ourselves, govern ourselves as apes. We are alpha men. We are men of distinction. We are men of character. We are men of nobility. We are men that walk upright. We are men of intellectual status. We are men of prominency. So let us not govern ourselves so that we will be symbolized as being apes. We know what it stands for. We know what it represents. We know how to use it to the extent that is to be used. We understand the motifs. We understand Egyptology. We understand Greek mythology. We understand our African heritage, even as it relates to the biblical order of things. So fellas, we are not apes, okay? We are not apes. Let us understand that. Let us remember that. Yes, I know you want to entertain you younger alphas out there. I know that's what we want to do because it is entertaining. The ladies love it, yes. But we are not apes. As we see that transpires into other things, it translates over into the way we carry ourselves even outside that avenue of entertaining. Some of us dress as though we have no class because of this. Because so a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And what has happened, the ape mentality has taken over our whole persona. So now we dress urban at all times. As we know as alpha men, we learn that versatility is the way. We understand that as it relates to our prayer, as it relates to even our credo. So fellas, let's carry ourselves as men of valor. Do not be scared in wearing different colors and showing how aesthetically inclined you are, by showing how gallant you are. Come on, this is a luxury fraternity. Do not be afraid to wear the bow tie. Originally, that's what we did. Originally, we wore suits all the time. Let us remember the history of our founders, our Druids. Let us remember that they had to struggle to get to a certain point, and they governed themselves accordingly. It didn't matter how much finances they had. It didn't matter the environment they were stuck in. It didn't matter who tried to crush them, who tried to bloody and bruise their head. They still looked up. They still withstood that test of a man. They still carried the burdens. They still held up their brothers. And we know this through the formalization. We know this through the history. We know this. Last thing, as alpha men, as I stated, as we already know, we are versatile. So in our techniques, when it comes to strolling, when it comes to stepping, let us understand the symbolism behind that, the techniques, the precision. Let us not forget the geometric patterns as it relates to Alpha Phi Alpha, as it relates to those men who built the pyramids. Let us not forget how important angles are. Every angle counts. I don't want to go too in depth with this, but let us not forget that there is math and there is science, and they're all linked with alpha. They're all linked with the symbolization. It links. There are patterns behind Alpha Phi Alpha, and we know this. So let us not forget the symbolism behind the things we do, behind the moves we perform. Let us not forget the symbolism behind these things. I have to stop myself before I go too in depth. But fellas, with these angles, let us remember that the angles are very important. Let us not forget that angles are very important as it relates to alpha, as it relates to our history, our African history, our Egyptian history. So fellas, this is Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated training video part 1. I just wanted to mention that. Also, finally, there is not any just correct way to train. There is a meaning behind the trainer. We know that. We know that there is a means of progression in life. There is a means behind the train. As we know, chapters do not get caught up in this whole thing about train and which train is correct, how we ought to train. If we just want to keep it rational, the Alpha and the Beta chapter, their train is different in appearance. But I bet you they understand the meaning behind the train, the significance behind the train. So fellas, remember that whole Alpha High, uphold the standards, the high standards of Alpha Phi Alpha. Signing off, I am Jermaine K. Muley, and I am Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.